Sean Meyers now joined by the new football coach for Belle Vernon area Leopards. That is Scott Bryer as he takes over, placing Matt Humbert. And first off, Scott, congratulations. I'm sure this is very exciting for you. I would imagine it's also pretty cool because you get to work with Matt Humbert in a different role. He had been the head coach. You had been one of his longtime assistants on the defensive side. He's still the athletic director. You're now the man in charge. So what was your reaction? What stood out about maybe your candidacy that made you the right man right now?
First, thank you, Sean. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me tonight. And yeah, I've nothing but the utmost respect for Matt and what he's done at Belle Vernon. So when the opportunity came up that I could be the head coach of this program, it was a pretty easy decision to make if that opportunity presented itself. This program has meant so much to me and my family. I've had three boys that go through the program. I've coached here for five or so. Well, if I count my time in middle school, I've been here for almost 10 years. So I've been part of the program for a long time. Been a part of football in the Belle Vernon area for almost 20 years with coaching youth programs. So been involved with probably everybody that's come through this high school program in the last 10, 12 years. So to have the opportunity to follow Matt and the success that he's had here, it was an honor, and I feel blessed to be able to do that.
So what was your relationship like with him when he was the head man, and how much do you lean upon him now and going forward into your first season guiding this program?
As a coach, I respected Matt. I do respect Matt. I think he did a great job. Our working relationship I would characterize it as any other head coach and assistant coach. Matt was involved with the whole program but most of the time he was he was our offensive coordinator. He made the calls there. I worked closely with Coach Barish and Coach O and Coach Steve are the guys on the defensive side of the ball. So that was really my focus. Even when I was with the middle school program, I was the defensive coordinator there. So I've always been on the defensive side of the ball. But, since the transition happened, Matt has been he has been there. He's been any time that I've had a question on what I needed to do or, what was the next step, he's been able to guide me through that. And I'm sure that he'll continue to be that that resource there for me. I know he wants nothing but the best for this program moving forward. What he did for this program over the last 10, 11 years is tremendous. And it means a lot to him. And for him to, have the faith in me to continue what he has built means a lot to me because this program means a lot to me and my family, and I know it means a lot to the community. So, again, just grateful to have this opportunity, have the backing of people like Coach Humbert and other people in the community. I feel really blessed.
So obviously, since you've already been with the program and you've seen the great success, you're probably not going to change a ton. But what will you bring that might be a little unique or a little bit different than your predecessor?
I think that every coach, I think that, the important thing is when you go in, you have to be yourself. You can't try to be someone else. You're not going to fool anyone. These kids in the program now have known me since they were in fourth grade, and they know that while I respect Coach Humbert, I'm not Coach Humbert. We were going to do things different ways, and I think that would be true for anybody that would come in. So yes, while there's a lot of things in place that I have the utmost respect for, and I think a lot of what Coach Humbert brought to the program is still going to be around, but it's still going to have my fingerprints on it, and where those changes are going to be or how it's going to be. They may be subtle in some points. I mean, we've met as an offensive staff already, and Made some changes there in terms of what we're looking at in terms of the running game and what we want to do with our quarterback. But defensively, the nice transition from when I came to this program from Mount Pleasant to here was we ran a very similar defense. I don't see there being much change in what we do defensively. We've always been a 4-4 team at base, and then we would get into some 4-2-5 looks, maybe a 4-3 look every once in a while. And I don't see that changing. I've done that for close to 20 years. Our kids have played that their entire lives, so I don't see there being much of a change there.
It's, I would say, an interesting scenario for you being the head coach at Belle Vernon, because this almost happened more than a decade and a half ago for you. Ultimately, it didn't work out at the time. Give a little background to that when you were the head coach very briefly at Belle Vernon, but unfortunately, from a football perspective, had to step aside because of another opportunity.
Yeah, I had the job for about 3 weeks in 2009. I started not started, but I was a longtime coach at Mount Pleasant, maybe 9 years at Mount Pleasant. I coached under Mark Lyons and Bo Ruffner. I was assistant head coach, D coordinator there. We had a nice run, had some success there. And in 2009, I applied for and was hired at Belle Vernon. And around the same time, an administrative opportunity opened up at Mount Pleasant. And I was approached and about interviewing for that job and pursued that, and it worked out for me. And the timing just wasn't right. I was going from being a high school teacher to an elementary principal. Probably wasn't the best time to take on being a head coach of a football program. So you're always going to do what's right for your family, and that move into the administrative role was the right move for my family, and really, I think, for myself at the time. So, resigned the head coach job at Belle Vernon. And it worked out, it seems like, for both sides, because Belle Vernon went on a nice run there after I didn't take that job. So, nice run of success there from 09 to 2023. So, and then, the opportunity came back around. So that doesn't happen too often in life where you get a second chance. So I feel very fortunate that opportunity presented itself, and I'm looking forward to, getting that second chance at it.
Well, you mentioned the nice run, and that's probably understating how successful the Leopards have been. Back-to-back WPIAL and state championships a couple of years ago. Several other appearances in the title games, or at least deep postseason runs. How do you maintain that? And is that something that you do see as a potential every single year, that this team can be one of the best in this, both the WPIAL and maybe even in the entire state?
No, I think that's the standard. I mean, that has to be your goal. That has to be what you're working for. There's kids on this team that tasted that went on that run, and they know what it takes. So that's an advantage that not a lot of programs have. A lot of guys on the coaching staff were here during that run as well. So I think you always want to get to that point again, especially since you've been there. The interesting thing is, we did it back to back, and we talk about this all the time. Man, when you go through it that first time, it's so unexpected, and every week is a new experience. And then when you go through it the second time, how different the feeling is. And having been there makes it is huge. You have the confidence that, yeah, we can do this. So, and you know what you have to do moving forward. So, having been a part of that special run and having that success, yeah, I think we all want to get back to that point, and having done it, we know that we can do it, and that should be the expectation. That should be the standard that we're looking to judge ourselves by.
You mentioned the word expectation or standard. I want to ask about the word goals. What do you have in mind? Do you have short-term goals? Do you have long-term goals? How do you approach what you want to accomplish during your tenure?
My goals, it's the same every year as a coach. You want to develop your players to the best of their abilities. I've coached football and even in this community, in this district, from kindergarten through senior and high school. And, I think my approach has been about the development of the players. And I think that when you focus on the process and you focus on the development of players, the development of team, everything else kind of falls in line. And it takes a lot of work to get the results that you want, but the process is the most important thing. And if you go about your business the right way, you practice hard every day, you come together as a team, you preach accountability, you preach effort and attitude, the wins that all come along. And that winning attitude is something that will be fostered through that practice routine, that practice approach, that approach of every day. We're going to get better as a team. We're going to get better as individuals. The wins come come after that, and then your bigger team goals will fall into place after that as well.
Final thing for you, Westmoreland Sports, myself and Dan Flickinger have been coming out to early season when you're still going through the either the heat week or just the regular preparation for the start of the regular season, training camp, if you will. And every year we come out, Matt Humbert is there wearing a straw hat, screaming at the top of his lungs and with energy that is through the roof. Are we going to see that from you? And in particular, are you going to be wearing that same straw hat that Matt Humbert wears every summer?
Straw hat? No, I'm more of maybe visor and maybe some Chuck Taylors on, but I'm a little different generation than Coach Humbert, but I think that the level of intensity that you see during practice and what I bring to practice is going to be up there. But again, I alluded to it earlier. Have all the respect in the world for Matt, but we're two different people, and I would never, I wouldn't try to. I got to be myself. I'm too old to be wearing
Unique look that not many can pull off. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I'm not pulling off the straw hat and everything like that. So now, probably.
Well, hopefully you can pull off the same success that Matt has had during his time at Belle Vernon. And first off, congrats, welcome, and we're looking forward to seeing the Leopards under your guidance this season and beyond.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight, Sean.